tell it was him backstage.
This was off tempo. Ladies and gentlemen, Padalecki himself picking it up.
Yeah, he was on the 1-3 and shit for 2-4. It was,
I don't even know what that means.
what's up, guys? How we doing?
Thanks for bringing us out here. Wow.
What happens if you say that to your mother?
Then I say, wow, Mom. I taught that to the cast of Fire Country. They were like, that's so stupid. I was like, I
They're like, get used to it. They're like, did you hear about the explosion of the cheese factory?
know.
Debris was everywhere.
Too.
Yes.
Who's first time? Welcome. What took you so long? I'm 13. Thank y'all for bringing us out here. Sorry,
Thank you.
Stoked to be out here. Stoked to see you guys. Stoked to see this family. Get reacquainted with some old friends and familiar faces, and meet some new friends.
You know what the capital here is?
Old Hampshire? we used to do that on set.
We used to do the Capitol game. Oh, and let there be light.
So is it the 7th day? I guess it is.
Hey everybody, there's some faces. Well, thank you for having us out here, and apologies to a few of you yesterday. I was a little tired. So
I couldn't tell. Jam.
And not by design. I ended up filming all night in Los Angeles on Friday night, and I came straight here after I wrapped. So there's very little sleep, and they helped me out with arranging the schedule to be a little nicer. But thanks for sticking around. Thanks for making it Sunday with us. We're happy to be here.
All right, well, let's not keep you guys waiting. Let's hear some questions. Let's hear from this side first.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Stacey.
I'm Joe. That's Jensen.
Yes. But the only thing meaner than a teenage girl is a preteen girl. I have a little girl that just...
How old?
She's 11. She just started middle school. I want to know, as girl dads, what would your advice be on handling bullies? We have had issues since the 3rd grade. They continue to follow her and actually just added new phone numbers and got to her again last night. So how would you handle that kind of situation?
Wow, I'm so sorry, Jason. My daughter is 7, so she's the household bully. I don't mean to tease her, but I think Ackles is probably more well prepared for this, with his daughter being, 11.
First, I will say this. I'll share you a little story because yes, my daughter is 11, and she is very clearly has moved into this preteen part of her life, and it's scaring me to death because I just I'm also working away from home now, and I fear that I'm going to miss like the last few years where I'm going to be the center of her universe. And I got a comment from her the other day. We talk daily, and And I think it was just Thursday, she's like, Dad, I'm just really missing you today. And I'm like, oh, honey, I'll be home next weekend. And she's like, I miss you so much, I can't even function. And I'm like, I still got a few years. That was a good one. That fueled me up for a while. But to answer your question, we dealt with that a couple of years ago, maybe a year and a half ago. There was somebody at school that was not just targeting JJ, but a few of the girls. And I mean, we were fortunate enough, we moved, so we just said, see ya, and extracted her from that situation. Obviously, yeah. Obviously, not everybody has that option available to them. What we were doing and what we were beginning to kind of get into was talking to the school board, not the school board, but the teachers, the principal, the assistant principal, talking to the counselor, making them very aware of what was going on, and getting a plan from them that we could also alter and give our 2 cents. And if you don't have people in the school that are collaborating with you on how to deal with the situation, then maybe more drastic measures are in order. Maybe moving the school, maybe trying to do something of that nature. But
that idea actually gives her panic attacks.
What's that?
That idea actually gives her panic attacks.
Moving school. Yeah.
So she is diagnosed with pretty extreme anxiety. We've had to medicate her over the last year or so.
Is she talking to a child therapist at all?
She refuses to go.
Okay.
After getting informed that she figured out what's going on, and she was absolutely not, I'm not going anymore. But we have had everybody involved, from the teachers to the principals to the sheriff's office. And they will not be broken.
Have you talked to their parents?
This will all give me their information.
Right.
So I did give
That's
the
tough.
information to the sheriff's office.
Right. Well, I wish I had an answer for you. I really do. That seems like a really deep situation. I wish you all the best. Don't give up on it. Keep fighting that, because you're the only one that's going to really fight for her the way that she needs to be fought for.
And I think again, such a difficult situation, and humans are so strange. It's a difficult concept for someone that age, but you deal with it like bullies right now. Look at my Twitter feed and see a lot of jerks and it hurts. So I try to avoid it. But if you can help her understand that hurt people, and just try and get her to understand that. It doesn't mean it's okay for them to hurt people back, but they're hurting also. They probably get bullied at home. It's heartbreaking to think about. And I wish you all and your daughter all the love.
And you get as much help as you can and as much support as you can. You maybe go talk to a therapist or somebody that deals with that kind of stuff, so that you can be given the tools that then you can pass on to her. You know what I mean? Arm yourself up to the teeth. There's plenty of people out there that will absolutely help you. So you find the help. If she won't do it and she's resistant, you do it. You do it, and that way you've got the skill set and the tools and the armor that you can impart on her.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All our love, Jason. All our support.
Hi there.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, and we're going to continue with the theme on advice. I'm asking this question on behalf of my granddaughter. She wants to get a tattoo, and I'd like to know, she'd like to know what you would do if your child, she'll be 16 in January, what would you say if your child came to you and wanted a tattoo?
At 15, I would say you're allowed to get one tattoo. It has to be right here and say no regrets. Otherwise, wait till you're 18. I waited until I was about 35 or something. I'm a fan of tattoos. You know, I'm sorry if I'm giving the answer that you were hoping to not receive. But I think it's worth waiting. If it's something you really care about and it's something that's going to last forever, then what's the rush?
They should, you know, for me, I think they represent a story. They represent the story of your life, right? They're little markers that,
It's like a journal on
that
the
should
bottom.
represent your life. I don't think at 16 you've got life figured out just yet. Now that's not to say that I have it figured out, because I'm still learning daily. But I think you have to live a life to earn the right to start writing your story on yourself.
And if that doesn't work, no regrets. How are you?
Hi,
Hi.
I'm Libby, and my question is not for advice or anything like that, but this morning I was watching French Mistake while getting ready.
As one does.
You don't do that every day?
Yeah, I'm watching it right now.
So my question is, what was the episode that was the most meta that you read and you were like, what is this? We can't get away with this.
French Mistake! Yes, it was.
Does it get any more meta than that?
We had Jared and Jensen playing Sam and Dean, playing Jared and Jensen playing Sam and Dean. That's not jumping the shark. That was honestly the most meta. And I don't, you know, I'm not speaking for Ackles, but for me, it was so nerve-wracking. Because I was like, are we like trying to get canceled? Like what's the end game here? And yeah, season 6, right? Yeah, season 6. Yeah, that's right. Season 6. Yeah, that was certainly the most meta that I can recall. But in hindsight, it's one of my favorites.
I just remember when we talked about it, because they called us. They don't do this very often. Or they didn't do it very often. There were only a few times. I can count on one hand how many times we had a meeting about an upcoming possible script, and that was one of them, because they would be using our likeness and our real names, and they kind of wanted to make sure we were cool with that. And I just remember he and I kind of thinking about it, pausing for a little bit, being like, wow, this sounds like a horrible idea. But our response to it was, as long as we're just playing Sam and Dean, and we never deviate from who those characters are, you can put us into whatever weird universe you want to. And they certainly did that throughout the 15 years. But you know, another one was the 200th episode, was the High School Musical. So they tried their best. But again, I think when it all came down to it, as long as the core, as long as these characters we weren't changing them, we were still playing them in any way where they were, then I think it held the nucleus of the show. It kept it rooted in what it was originally. So I mean, it was one of the great things about doing a genre show, is you can really do crazy, wacky stuff, and we had some really.
And there are people crazy enough to watch it.
And people crazy enough to watch it.
I guess we're skipping the low-hanging fruit here. Real Ghostbusters? Is that what it was called? The convention? Yeah. And fake Sam and Dean, The Cemetery. What was it called?
Ghostfacers.
No, not Ghostbusters. No, the one where we go to a convention and Rob's there. Real Ghostbusters. Yeah. The Cemetery.
Look, I don't sound like that, do I? But again, as long as we just stayed true to the character, they did whatever they wanted to. Clearly.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Hi.
Oh yeah, Nick. Nice to meet you.
No, Jensen. I'm Jared. What's your name?
Nick.
Nice to meet you.
Y'all's message, just kind of sticking through, was a big motivating factor amongst many for me in getting my master's and being a therapist and currently a school counselor. So
Jason.
this was a 24-hour change of a day for me, so thank you. Actual real question. What is your favorite stunt that another cast member was put through that you just enjoyed either seeing or being a part of?
When Cass goes flying out of the like 8-story window.
I did not want to do that.
I did.
I did not.
That looked like so much fun. Obviously, they didn't let Misha do it, and they wouldn't have let me do it either, but that looked like a lot of fun.
I was really happy to not do that. I was happy to not do the Hellhounds into season 2, dragging you to hell and all that.
Was this ones that we were glad we didn't?
I'm working backwards, process of elimination.
Like,
Did I misunderstand the question, or is he completely changing it?
no, either if you took some joy out of it, or you were like, okay, that actually looks really fun, like that someone else.
Oh no, there's probably more of the opposite of like, I'm glad that wasn't me.
I think I have more of those. I think my favorite stunt I was ever a part of was not doing the fight with Michael and Lucifer. That's not one of the ones that...
If I could turn back time.
I'll say this. I kind of got to be a part of a lot of these, but a lot of the driving shit that Ackles got to do, I was like, God, I wish I could do that. I wish I got to do that. So I'm gonna stick with that. A lot of the driving stuff.
Since we're talking about the ones I was glad I wasn't a part of, there was one that I think about all the time, and it's probably because I know you so well, and that was where the Hellhound was like on top, and you stabbed it, and all the like Hellhound blood and guts like came crashing down.
It was like 3 in the morning.
And props and special effects came up with a pretty disgusting mix of things that just, I mean, I watched that and I was like, glad that's not me. But also knowing Jared, he doesn't like,
They spit on like...
you don't like liquid stuff, like, it's,
I almost made a curse word. They had a spit.
oh yes, like one, like
Blood violence
the
or something?
spit came out of this one guest star was about to just like landed, and his whole demeanor, he was like, oh, and then he goes. Get it off.
I have a really bad reaction to being spit on. Totally irrational. Maybe I should talk to a therapist. There was one where like a witch gets on top of my character, and we were shooting like an hour away, and it was not really a stunt. Like we fall to the ground, I can do it myself, but it's supposed to be, I think it was a witch like drooling on me, and I get sick from it. And I was like, I ain't fucking doing that. So they call my stuntman to drive an hour from downtown to put the wig on, put my outfit on, and I was like, Carpy, his name was Mike Carpenter. And he was like, hey, you all right? I was like, yeah, I'm fine. He's like, you hurt? I was like, no, I just don't like you drooled on. I was like, sorry they called you last, like, I'm sorry. He goes, I'm getting paid. Because meanwhile, he had to do the like getting hit by a car and all this other stuff. So he's like, this is great. Like, get drooled on, sweet.
That's an easy day for him.
And then when we were doing, so Mike Carpenter, love him. We were doing a scene where it's Sam and somebody, it's 2 Sams, and we're in Panther Paintball walking, I forget what the scenes were. But we're walking around each other, and so he was playing me for the off camera, and he had my lines when I was playing Sam number 1, and he was Sam number 2. I think it wasn't Hell Sam. It was maybe Soulless Sam and Sam, and walking around each other. And so we did the first take, and he does the lines of the Sam that he is, they call cut, and he's like, dude, that was the scariest thing I've ever done. Can you just hit me with a car or something? He had memorized all the lines.
Stunt guys do not like to do dialogue.
They do not.
Throw me through a wall, please.
Stab me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the driving stuff, I found myself envious of here and there.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Thanks a bunch.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Nick.
Jason Binder. Hi.
Hi, my name is Haley, and
Hi,
my
Haley.
family just finished actually watching Supernatural a couple weeks ago, and I'm really obsessed with the car. So I was wondering if y'all had any stories for about baby on set.
We do.
Oh, countless. I will say this, that you may have noticed that in the beginning of the series, the car had police lights.
Yeah.
They got rid of those
Spotlights
because Jared and I were children
with high-powered halogen bulbs.
and continually blinded people on set with those things as a joke, and they didn't find it very funny, especially when looking through a camera lens with like a diopter on it, and the guy's like, so
We
they,
thought it was funny.
oh, hilarious. They removed those. They just connected the horn. Because impulsively, if there's somebody leaning over the hood like a grip or
Setting up lights.
like setting a light, I have to scare them with the horn. That got disconnected. The radio once worked. That stopped. So they basically made it Jared and Jensen proof by the third or fourth season, and then we just. So then at that point, then it was just dealing with Jared's gas.
So the upholstery burned, not under his seat, but under my seat. I don't know why.
They had no fix for that.
And then it did get smashed one time, not on set, but we had used it on stage, and we were shooting, we call it PMP, the poor man's process, which is when we, Sam and Dean are driving, and we have people with hot seat sprayers, we call it, to make it look like it's raining. The lights are going around the car, and there's another light that looks like the street lights going back and forth, and then we're done with that scene, we're gonna go do something else. And so our picture car guy, Frank, is gonna go take it and put it on the back of a flatbed to take it to the set for tomorrow or something. So we're blocking the next sequence, and we see a bunch of people, like assistant directors, like, oh no, like, Frank, what's going on? So, Frank, what? Frank got into a car accident in the Impala. Like, what? And so we go, we leave, like he's just outside stage, he just left the property and smashed a tree or something. How in the world? And so we go run over there, and the fire truck is already there, the ambulance or something. And Frank is outside of the Impala. The Impala's off in the bush, about 100 feet, like over a ditch, and we're like, you're right, are you okay? And you can see through his t-shirt that his clavicle had snapped. And he's in pretty bad pain. They haven't given him anything. It's Canada, so they give him like maple syrup or some shit. Some poutine. This will make you feel better. And so, we're sitting there and we're like, A, you okay? He's like, yeah. I'm like, B, what did you do to the car? And I guess the accelerator, the throttle had gotten stuck, and so it was, I think it was still a carbureted engine, and the carburetors had stayed open. And so the car was just, he jumped the curb, and he couldn't hit the brake because the engine was being fed fuel. And so we're like, okay, you're fine. He's like, yeah. And I say, I'm sitting there talking to Frank, and he's sitting on the ambulance, and they're kind of trying to tend to him, hold his elbow. And I was like, hey, is he okay? And the guy's like, yeah, he's gonna be all right. I was like, all right, well, I'm glad he's all right. Just and don't worry about his face. He looked like this already. His face was fine. And so Frank is like, ha ha ha, damn it, ha ha. He's laughing. He's like, man, I needed that laugh, but that hurt to laugh. Yeah, so there was a lot of stuff that happened.
They obviously put her back together and everything was fine. But I will say there was a scene where Dean gets upset and takes a crowbar to the car, and That hurt. That hurt Jensen. I did not like that scene. But I will say this, they had actually removed that panel and put like a different panel on. So I just so you know, I wasn't actually hitting her. I was hitting a stunt panel. And that made me feel kind of bad. No, we spent a lot of time in that car, and it was she was very good to us.
Thank you, Haley.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi, my name's Julie. This is my first time ever being at a Supernatural convention.
Welcome.
So I was really shocked to even be picked to ask a question, so here's a stupid question. You've been at these conventions for so many times. Is there one question, I mean, as you sit up there, do you think to yourself like, oh God, I hope they don't ask this again?
This question right now. Okay. Yeah, some of the prank stuff, because we didn't really prank, we kind of just had fun on set. People are like waiting in line right now. Where's my idea?
I don't know that there's anyone that we like, ooh, let's, I hope we don't get asked that, because also, if we get asked the same question that we've answered before, sometimes now we've had time to think about it, or it jogs a different memory that we can share, and sometimes the answers, are usually a little different. And the great thing about you guys is we have been coming to these things for quite some time. And you guys always have really great, interesting questions. You always set us up for good anecdotes or stories or whatever it might be. So I don't think that there's a question. It used to be like, oh, well, we need to make sure, stay away from this topic or don't say this or that. But you got these characters just as much as we do, and so